Now that you've mentioned that, how can the private sector help you to want to go into farming through the use of, in terms of encouraging them to use mechanized tools to promote farming?
Good. Now, the private sector, like Dangote, that has money, and some other private people that have money, they can acquire the land, get the various areas of land, of course, purely analyze, soil analysis, all those things, and then map out the various commodities or enterprises that they need to produce. And by that, they will know the number of people that need to be employed to produce X million quantity.
But we know that companies, some private organizations have actually been supportive in terms of trying to encourage young people.
They need to do more, no doubt. They need to do more, and government too needs to support them.
But you see, the only thing
in the sense that the issue of land, when you give land to the private sector, it's not that you now withdraw it and say, oh, in the interest of the public. And therefore, you need to give them the CFO, the certificate of occupancy, to really legitimize that they are really the owners of the land, and they can then acquire some funds from the banks to do so.
Mr. Mogaji?
Yes.
He says that, yes, that the private organization needs to do more, even though they are, trying to do some sort of hand-holding for the young people. But are the young people even ready to do this? Go into agriculture in any, whether the farming part, livestock part, or fishery, agriculture, or the rest of it, are they even ready?
Sincerely, the youths are not ready.
So, if the youths are not ready,
yeah,
why is it that everybody just feels that this is one sector that can employ these youths, create the jobs that these youths actually need to get them off the street when they're not even ready to take it?
Good. I would say, show me the money. Show them ABC of how to make the money. Run programs, trainings, seminars, and sit them down and say, this is how you can make the money. They're not interested in the production. They're interested in the money. So when you show them how they can get the money, that will inspire them to want to try it out. And I'm an advocate of not bringing youth from the urban areas to the rural community just like that. You want to alter his life, his or her life. What I advocate is you bring, growing up, we used to watch some cartoon called Voltron. Voltron, where 5 different people come together to form one body.
Yes.
Now you bring 5 people together to maybe cultivate 1 hectare, that's 2.5 acres of corn. That way, each of them goes to the farm, the corn matures in 3 months. Each of them goes to the farm at most twice, and they can still have their lives together. Now, when they harvest the thing, which is a model we are practicing in Okeodo, in Ogun State now, when they harvest the crops and they actually see that, wow, if we put in 70,000 and we can make about 300,000, what if I now have access to 30 acres? What will happen? From that moment, you're not the one who will be going after that youth. That youth is going after you.
But Mr. Mogaji,
yeah,
let me quickly put an arrow into this. It's the truth of the matter.
Okay.
Why would a youth not be interested in trying to understand what puts food or how food gets to the table?
Okay.
The process of planting and watching that crop you've planted grow, and the fact that you go and harvest it and you eat it, it's supposed to be satisfying enough. It seems to me that the youths do not have the mindset. It seems to me that the youths are selfish.
True.
The youths are just selfish. They just want to wait. They just want to wait for for somebody to bring it to them. So at the end of the day, does it always have to be somebody should make the first move? We have seen that there's a deficit. We've seen that there's a gap. Yeah. We've seen that there's a challenge of employment. We've seen there's a challenge of food security. And we know that we have the population, we have the youths who can help bridge these 2 deficit gaps that we've pointed out, but they're not making any moves to do it. And you're saying that somebody who should go and help generate that interest. If you do not have the interest, then nobody can make it work for you.
Now, let me be quick to say this. Most of the youths are available to whatever opportunity comes. But it's a different paradigm staying on the farm to produce. I've done that for 18 years. Without a passion you cannot stay on the farm. Sometimes we trek 2 kilometers, 10 kilometers, just playing with squirrels and grass cutters running around, you know. And not everybody can stay on the farm. But in the value chain, that can accommodate more people. So really, the youths in the villages are not farming again. They are running away from farming. Most of them, I've interacted with rural people most of my life. Now they want to, they've been doing it. Maybe this year climate change, it does not rain, so they run into losses. The second season, which is maybe August, there's too much rain, and the whole year, everything is gone. And when everything is gone, there's no government to come in. There are no genuine, most of the NGOs are not really doing what they receive money to do, which is to support these people. So when they have gone through that 2 years, they lose it. Most of them are Okada drivers. You go to the villages, this is the fact. They sit down in the morning, wait for Okada. How many people take Okada in the villages? But that's what they do.
Okay. So now in terms of, you mentioned improving on the value chain.
Yes.
There are some youths who've actually been successful as farmers, maybe not just in agriculture, crop farming, in even livestock farming and aquaculture.
Sure.
Now,
Even in processing.
even processing. So, Professor Okuneye, I'm going to come to you because you're an agricultural economist
Yes.
and from the university, and you get to see youths like that. Some have actually succeeded as farmers, as I mentioned, but what process can begin to engage the youths in, especially in the value chain, which Mr. Mogaji actually mentioned?
Yes. What we can really do is to further train these youths in some other areas other than just crops alone, but combination of enterprises. The issue of cropping, the issue of animal rearing, the issue of fishing, the issue of processing, and of course packaging and marketing. Those areas too, they have some levels of employment therein. And the various universities and the government should now come up with specific programs that will encourage the youth to combine all these enterprises. And two, the government too should reserve some funds and also using some private sector to really sensitize this youth that, look, it is when you produce that you can really get food to eat. And that there are also some social facilities that can be provided in these strategic areas where the youths can be encouraged to produce. If such social facilities can be there, unfortunately, PACN or NEPA, whatever the name, has not been working. But by the time we have youth programs in strategic areas in various states, this can also sensitize the youths to go into agriculture, because they know that whatever they could get in the urban areas, they can also get in the rural areas where some social facilities are being provided for them. So therefore, it's not just funding agriculture per se, but funding some other activities that will make agriculture to work. It really becomes important for agriculture to move forward.
Well, let's hold on to our thoughts and take a quick break, and we'll come back and continue this conversation. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television, and we're broadcasting live from Lagos, Nigeria. Today on the program, our focus is on agriculture, particularly creating productive jobs from the agriculture sector. We'll take a quick break now and come back for more. welcome back. You're still watching Business Morning on Channels Television. Just before we continue our conversation for today, which is on agriculture and looking at growing jobs in the agricultural sector, growing productive jobs in the agricultural sector, let's take a quick look at some company news, and we'll start with FBN Holdings. Of course, earlier on the program, I spoke to Rotimi and we talked about the result, but let's look at it closely.